I'm Christian Abbott.
I'm Nathan Lavender.
I'm Sean Abbott. And this is the Red Mist Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Red Mist Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4. The Morgan McClure, Ernie Irvin, Number 4 Kodak Chevrolet episode. On tonight's episode, we'll talk about the New England Karting Challenge Powered by Pryde with Jim Paulette. And we'll also talk about the 24 hours of Daytona that's upcoming since we're 4 days out from the start of the event. So I'm going to bring on the founder and czar of the New England Karting Challenge Powered by Pryde, Jim Paulette. And we'll turn it over to Christian to introduce Jim to the fans.
Yeah, so Jim has we've been in contact for a little bit, and obviously I've been seeing what he's doing, and it's obviously great that he's bringing a new series to New England. And what we wanted to do tonight is talk a little bit more about that. So, Jim, if you want to say hello to everyone and introduce yourself and what it is that you will be running and doing for this year.
Hey everybody, my name is Jim Paulette. I am the series founder, race director, flag waver, and idea fairy for the New England Karting Challenge Powered with Pryde. We are a brand new racing series. We are utilizing the Briggs 206 and World Formula rule sets. We are actually sharing the same rule set as the predominant racing series in New England, the New Hampshire Karting Association. And we are also scheduling around NHKA to create more racing opportunities for folks in New England. Now, we have a great schedule planned for 2023. We're going to be kicking things off with an ice race. And we're going to be starting our new series with something that nobody in New England has ever done before. And that is an indoor ice race in front of 3,500 screaming fans for a double header on March 10th and March 11th. That's going to be called the New England Karting Challenge Brain Freeze at the Danbury Ice Arena in Danbury, Connecticut. And from there, we're going to be moving on to an open test day, which both NHKA and New England Karting Challenge members are welcome to join. That's going to be on April 8th at Palmer Motorsports Park in Massachusetts. That's located actually right with the larger track. It's located inside of it. Really, really nice facility. We're actually going to be the first people to use it. So, moving on to our 4-race regular season. In late June, we have a race called the Tamworth Throwdown presented by DRT Racing. That's going to be at Club Motorsports, New Hampshire. After that, we're going to be headed over to Rocky Ridge, Vermont for some heat racing under the lights at the Rumble at the Ridge. And then moving on to August, we're headed back to Club Motorsports for the Granite State Grand Prix presented by Archie's Kart Shop. And then finishing out our regular season in late September with the Bar Brawl back under the lights in Bar, Vermont. But we're not going to stop there. And October 21st of 2023, we're also going to be hosting the Briggs & Stratton Racing Engines 8-hour endurance race. And that is going to feature light, medium, and heavy categories as well as World Formula. That's going to be an 8-hour team endurance race. And that's going to really round out the karting season in New England. And we'll be finishing things from there.
Well, I got to say, that whole schedule sounds fantastic. I think you've touched just about every inch of different type of racing you could get in go-karting.
That's absolutely right. I mean, and that was the cool thing about starting a new series from scratch, is that I started with a blank sheet of paper, and I started with a few pain points that racers had in New England. And I wanted to address those pain points, but I also wanted to make the series attractive for new racers, for people who wanted to get off the sidelines and wanted to join our sport. Because as everybody knows who started karting, getting into karting can be intimidating. It can be difficult. It can be very resource intensive. And what we've done at the New England Karting Challenge Powered with Pryde is we've taken that anxiety and that pain and that frustration out of starting your racing career. So we've partnered with a bunch of different organizations to make it so that way we can get you into a kart, we can get you up to speed, we can get you the safety gear that you need, we can also get you all the tools, consumables, anything that you need from our series partners to make sure that you have what you need and you can get out there and you can go fast and have fun.
That's pretty sweet, if you're asking me. So now, I know all ideas maybe start on a sheet of paper, but I feel like what's kind of the route to adding this? Was there missing voids in New England, would you say, that haven't been filled yet? Because I'm thinking like this is an amazing schedule, and it kind of reaches all of where the hot racing markets are in New England.
Well, I started this because, not that there was a problem when I started racing, but a problem was created. As you guys know, NHKA went from being an open club to where anyone could race to being a closed club, where you had to be a member and you had to have certain credentials in order to race with NHKA. What that essentially did was it made it so that way there was no real path to get started in karting in New England. So what I did was I said, okay, this niche, this group of racers is underserved currently. People wanting to get off to get out of the rental kart track, or maybe get out of the sim racing and maybe try something, try their hand at kart racing. So essentially what I did was I created a series with the newcomer in mind. And I created something that was flexible for them, that was easy to get into, and it made it easy for you to start your racing career and move on to other places. So as you may know, we have an articulation agreement with NHKA. So anybody who is vetted by NEKC, I can recommend approval to NHKA for a membership. So essentially, by starting your karting career off with the New England Karting Challenge Powered with Pryde, if you have a couple of good races there, and if you decide you wanted to expand your racing horizons a little bit, I can actually help you get a membership with NHKA. So that's one of those things where you start with me. There's that old saying, you've got to learn to crawl before you can walk. You can crawl with the New England Karting Challenge. You can get comfortable. You can get some races under your belt on smaller tracks, smaller grid counts, with more of an emphasis on mentoring and driver development. You can build your skills there. You can get comfortable. You can build your racecraft in a low pressure and relaxed setting. And then when it's time for you to try something different, you can always add races to NHKA in your schedule. The great news about the New England Karting Challenge is that we have an identical rule set to NHKA. So if your kart is good with us, it's going to be good with NHKA, and we're going to create more opportunities for you to race. So the last time I checked, between both series, you're going to have 14 races in New England from April to October, and you're also going to have 2 enduros in October for a combined total of 12 hours of karting, and plenty of opportunities to turn laps, to make friends, make memories, and to continue to grow your racecraft and to get comfortable behind the wheel.
Very nice. Very, very nice. And I like the idea that, you can, it's like, what comes to mind right away is like, it's kind of like if you have a GT3 car, you could go to World Challenge and to IMSA. So I like the idea that if your kart goes well with this series, you can also go to another series that may, probably seem more intimidating since there's, an added cost to it. But does this series maybe, it gets you out of rental karting, but do you see, do you have a really good strength of field that is strong interest that's coming in?
We do. And the cool thing about the New England Karting Challenge is that we have a wide range of racers coming in. So based on the driver registration forms that I have right now, we have a really cool cross-section of racers. So about a third to a half of my racers that are coming in for this season have never raced before. We also have a lot of our returning members from NHKA who are going to be joining us as well with varying degrees of experience. Most of our NHKA folks that are going to be running the New England Karting Challenge have about 4 to 5 seasons under their belt. Most are very competitive and have done, basically have proven through NHKA that they can do very well. So I feel that even though we have a lot of new racers, we have enough experienced racers that are planning on committing to either all or part of the NEKC schedule to basically give our new racers a taste of what a good racing line looks like, what fast actually is on certain tracks. And that's going to be important because when you're first starting your racing journey, it doesn't matter if it's in karting, whatever the case may be, you look up to those fast guys, you look up to those experienced guys. And you look at them with a much closer eye, and you say, okay, how can I race like them? Well, the good news about our series is that we're going to have an informal mentoring program. So we're going to pair you up with one of those fast guys if you want through the season. And they're going to be able to share tips on setup, on gearing, tire pressures, how to do certain things with your kart. And they're going to help you get to fast. They're going to help you get to happy because the New England Karting Challenge Powered with Pryde is where racers go to grow. Your karting journey starts here, but that doesn't mean that you have to run at the back and kick around and, learn everything the hard way like we did.
Right.
We want to help you get fast and as fast as possible. So those informal mentoring tools and other programming is really there to help you grow.
That's excellent. And I like hearing this because where I come from, I'm in the Touring Car Championship right now, and I have done some races in a senior tag kart, such as at tracks at when it was X1 Outdoors, and even a round at Loudon. So, and for me, it's costs can definitely go up, and finding the right series to get into is everything. Because don't get me wrong, sim racing, even console racing such as like PlayStation or Xbox, they're great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the real thing. And I think, I always look for finding the next best step and finding great competition. And it sounds like this series really checks all those boxes because I'm thinking you have rookie drivers that are really trying to make a name for themselves, and then veteran racers. And that's kind of the same, similar, not same, but similar mindset with Touring Car Championship, because a lot of the drivers, it's half of them are full season drivers, and then half of them are just the local heroes that are around that normally do leagues at the given go-kart track. The most recent one we went to was R1 Raceway in Lincoln, Rhode Island, and there was one guy that's doing the full season, and he did very well. Ben Braley, he has thousands and thousands and thousands of laps there, and some of his the drivers he's raced with came into the series as well and placed very well. They were able to make the main event and do very well for themselves. So what I really like about this is it has a happy mix of drivers that are just getting started, and then also but then they're done that drivers that maybe have a sixth sense when it comes to their driving habits. It sounds really cool, and for someone maybe like me, I'm looking for any real opportunity to get racing. How does someone like me that's kind of looking for something else get into this?
Well, the first thing that you'd want to do is you want to like everything that I've got on social media. And my handle on both Facebook and Instagram is New England Karting Challenge. So go ahead for all your latest updates and everything else. You can go over there. You can pop a like and subscribe to those. The next step is if you have a kart, basically just check our rules package and ensure that you are in compliance with the division that you wish to run. Now, I understand that a lot of people who are running my series, they don't have their own karts and they want to race. But I realize that not everybody has a truck, not everybody has tools, not everybody has the residence or space to look after a kart. So we've put together a deal with our official Arrive and Drive partner, and which is DRT Racing, and our official safety gear provider, Turn 4 Performance. So for the full schedule for $1,990, you're going to get 4 Arrive and Drives in the division of your choice. You're going to get 4 complimentary pit passes. So that's going to cover your insurance and everything else while you're there. It's also going to cover your safety gear. So we're going to give you a helmet, we're going to give you gloves, shoes, and a neck collar. And basically the only thing that you're going to need to purchase on top of that, if you so choose, is a racing suit. But you don't have to have one. You can just use like a regular motorcycle jacket or something equivalent that I decide is okay. So for just shy of $2,000, you can run a full season with the New England Karting Challenge powered with Pryde. You don't even need to own a kart. You can just show up with your safety gear and decide, what do I want for lunch? And then we've already figured that out too, because at most of our events, we're bringing in external food trucks. So you don't even need to bring food. You don't need to eat soggy sandwiches out of a cooler. You can actually just show up. You can enjoy yourself. You don't need to think about bringing your car. You don't even need to set it up. DRT Racing is going to take care of everything for you. So just bring your safety gear, bring a great attitude, and we'd love to have you at the New England Karting Challenge.
Well, you already sold me on the food part. So I think
Nice.
you're definitely going to see me on the sign up list, because that sounds really exciting, man.
That's right.
And
You'll be in the heavyweight class.
I will be too. So yeah, I'll be in the masters class. Are you going to run the heavies?
Possibly. Sean has this running joke with me, and Christian, I guess, because I mean, what was it? X1 Boston Clydesdale class? Was that the nickname to it?
The big guys. It was the big guys.
The big guys.
Yeah, it was the big guys. It was the big guys. Except that
listen.
you slipped in one year. That's why.
Yeah, yeah, just like by a pound or two. It just was like, oh, lightweight, sweet.
Shouldn't have had that piece of cake.
Nope. And I'll tell you what, yeah, right? Burgers, pizza. I mean, hey, listen, it's a common theme here in the winter, I guess. But and hey, Sean, I'm doing pretty good in the TKC points and not being in one class. Yep. So I mean,
that's good.
I may be the ice cream man sometimes in the heavyweight, but hey,
we'll get Jim to get the ice cream man for you.
Well, I mean, there's like the heavier carts usually cook better around the corners. There's something to be said about that.
See, Jim, there you go.
I roll out at 394 in my cart, and I can chase down guys that are 60 pounds lighter just because I can get them through the corner.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's the heavyweight class is no slouch. They're definitely quick, and
especially in 4-stroke.
Yeah, and
or 206.
Yeah, and
206.
but definitely from running the indoor stuff when we would do lightweights and heavyweights, but then when we would have events where everyone would have to weigh up to the same, you definitely as a lightweight driver, you definitely had to learn how to how to maneuver the extra weight.
That's true.
But it's a different way of driving. It's a new way of driving, and it's just another tool in your arsenal for when you need to make something go fast.
Jim,
it absolutely is. Sorry,
go ahead, Jim.
Oh, no, you're good. I was done.
Okay, let's talk some technical stuff about this series. Will the motors be sealed?
Yes, the motors will be sealed in accordance with the LO206 rule set that's provided by Briggs & Stratton, and also the NHK World Formula rule set, because those motors are sealed as well. Yep. And the only variation that we will be taking with the LO206 rule set is to adapt to the NHK rules. And essentially all that is we're requiring the World Formula header and the World Formula muffler for the 206. That's commonly known as the GoPro configuration, because that's what GoPro Motorflex requires as well. And so we're requiring that just to make things easy. It's, as far as tires go, it is the same LeConte Reds that we've grown to love. The spec fuel that is required is VP93. VP is our official fuel sponsor. They're also sponsoring our VP Fuels Pole Award. The official oil that we'll have to be using is I'm going to give you two choices there. It's either going to be AMSOIL 4T or RLV 4T. You can also use their long life configuration for our endurance race if you're worried about the oil breaking down too soon, which generally I wouldn't worry about, but for some folks, they like that added peace of mind.
Right.
So as far as that's concerned, from a technical standpoint, there isn't much that is different from NHKA. The only thing that's different is basically what I call the classes. So LO206 Junior with NHKA is LO206 Light with NEKC. So LO206 Senior with NHKA is LO206 Medium. And then we also, one of the things that we added was a heavy class, because to run the heavy class at NHKA, you have to be older. You have to be in the master's class and be 32 years of age or older. I have added a heavy class for people aged 15 and up, and that's going to cover you from age 15 to 34. And then we're going to go right into the master's rule set, 390 pounds, age 35 and up. Yeah. Very common rule set throughout North America for that.
Right.
So from the technical nuts and bolts, a couple changes, but a lot of it, we decided we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We didn't want to make anything difficult for our racers. We just wanted them to come. So we went with the rule set of NHKA to create more opportunities for our racers in New England.
In terms, so I assume so you mentioned the folks from DRT are going to be, are they going to be at the events doing their usual rentals and support, things like that?
That's correct. A couple of our partners that we've known to grow and that we know and love are going to be at all of our New England Karting Challenge events. So the linchpin in this whole strategy is DRT Racing. DRT Racing is our official arrive and drive partner for the series, and they are also our official consumables provider. So if you need chains, oil, fuel, gears, other consumables for your kart, DRT is going to have a fully stocked 45-foot trailer with a canopy full of carts. They're going to be able to help you out. They also do tire mounting, balancing, things like that in case you get in a pinch. They're going to be providing a lot of our trackside support for their racers and the rest of our racers as well. Another person that's going to be there is Archie's Kart Shop. Archie Archambault is actually going to be our tech person. And get this, guys, he's also going to be racing.
All right.
Yep. So one of the cool things that we're going to be doing is the New England Karting Center. A lot of NEKCs here. They are actually bringing a vintage class for vintage four-stroke Briggs flatheads. So they're going to have about 6 or 8 of those guys. Usually, a lot of the guys are in their 60s and 70s because the karts are vintage 1980, 1990, wherever the case may be, and they'll be tooling around and having fun. So
nice.
Archie will be, as best I can tell, with what his plans are, he'll be racing with us. He'll also be there for tech as well. So that's another brand that people trust. So I wanted to make sure he was there.
In terms of tires, is a competitor going to have to buy through you folks and your supplier, or are they allowed to buy from kart shops elsewhere?
I'm not going to be putting a restriction on that.
Okay.
So say, for example, if you're an NHKA racer.
You have to buy from Mike.
And if you... What?
You got to buy through NHKA.
Well, yeah, and if you have to, if you buy tires from Mike, you can absolutely run those with NEKC as well.
Right.
Or if it's more convenient for you to buy them on like an online shop, like Acceleration Karting.
Yep.
You can buy them there as well. A LeConte Red is a LeConte Red.
Right.
And if you need them trackside, DRT is the official answer. But as long as you have LeConte Reds on your 4.5-inch fronts and your 6-inch rears, that's all I care about. I want to make things easy for people, and
that's true. And in terms of this, I don't ever want to hear this word. In terms of the rain event, you obviously use the LeContes, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
We are going to be using LeConte whites.
Not purples.
You know what? If it came down to you know my sordid history with LeCompte purples. I would sooner race on ice skates than LeCompte purples, and I wouldn't subject anybody else to that level of pain.
I'll be honest with you, rain tires are rain tires at that point, so it's all up to the driver. So I completely agree with you there.
Yeah, they're the one thing I noticed about the LeCompte purples is that they are great as almost like an intermediate tire.
Yeah.
But the whites are really great if it's drive and rain out. But once the line starts to get dry, you got to be careful.
You got to be careful, right? Yeah. So, all right, that's good, Nate. That's good. At least there's some flexibility there to make things easy for everybody, so that folks aren't, somebody has a pinch all week, rushes around, forgets that they ordered, didn't get their tire order in, whatever. Yeah. They got an option to get their tires ahead of time and don't have to worry about those things. That's good. That's good.
Oh, you're exactly right. You can get them online. You don't have to pre-order them. DRT. Say, for example, you get trackside, you realize that your tires are a little bit more worn than you want them to be. DRT Racing is going to have plenty of stock there, so if you can pick up a set, they'll even mount and balance them for you.
That's fantastic. All right. I'm out of questions.
All right.
I got a question.
Hey, you
all
go
right,
ahead.
Go.
All
Okay,
right,
all
you
right.
go.
So Jim, it's kind of off-topic question, but do you follow racing outside of all this? Do you follow any series?
I am a Formula One and Indycar fan. My teams for Formula One are Williams and to a lesser extent Mercedes. But I've always been a Williams fan for as long as I've been following the sport, since the 90s, because I'm old. And I follow Formula One. I like IndyCar. I haven't followed it as closely. I also watch NASCAR for the road races, but other than that, I'd rather watch paint dry. But
Wow.
Hey, the Daytona 500 is coming up, so I'm pretty.
Wow,
I'm
Nate.
pretty stoked.
Nate.
I guess it's only 25% of us that are stoked.
No, that leaves one of us on the call excited.
Nate, once again, you are in the minority of NASCAR.
I tried.
There you go. All right,
To be fair, though, I like the road course races a lot. I really love what they did with the next gen.
It's great, and they have 5 gears now, so it's like.
Yeah, if they can only do away with the stage racing on the road course, we'd be all set.
But Sean, they still screw up the lug nut.
Yeah, I know.
It's one now. They cut 80% of the work off.
All right, so let's. I've had enough NASCAR talk. I'm all right. I would like to know more about this ice race.
Yeah.
Is this
okay?
Okay, so not to cut you off. Can you explain what kind of tires you guys are going to use?
So what we're going to be using are rain tires with 5/8-inch studs. It's going to be 100 per tire.
Nice.
So basically what we're instructing are 16 drivers who signed up for this.
Suit of armor?
Sean, we got to go.
You guys should come.
This is fantastic.
Dude, I love this idea.
I'm sorry. What are the dates again for this event?
It's going to be March 10th and March 11th.
Oh, good.
And it'll be at the Danbury Ice Arena in Danbury, Connecticut.
And this Christian was explaining to me. You're running as part of a all-day event, right?
No, it's going to be a double header. So basically, what this is we are going to be a support division for the Extreme International Ice Racing Series, otherwise known as XIIR. They are an organization that primarily does ice racing for motorcycles, or motorcycles, three-wheelers, four-wheelers. Yeah. That's kind of their bread and butter, but they do invite other categories in. They had a race in St. Louis with the Margay crowd. That went over really well.
I'm sure that did.
And so what had happened was I basically invited myself backstage, talked to the series promoter, and got us on the calendar.
Now, let me go. If this goes off well, are you gonna like do a winter series?
Yes. So I will tell you. I will tell you guys this.
Yes.
If things go well on March 10th and 11th, and if everybody acts right,
Yes.
we have been given the
Yeah.
opportunity to continue to come to events with XIIR in New England. So they usually have an event in New Hampshire. They usually have 2 in Connecticut, and they usually have 1 in Maine. So I'm thinking I'm going to turn this into a really cool concept with just an ice racing invitational series for the winter.
That'd be fantastic. Seriously, that would be amazing.
Can we? Is this the first time you've announced this, Jim?
Oh, I made the announcement for the brain freeze about a week ago.
Yeah.
I've been telling people
It's been out there.
privately that if this goes well, we'll have more opportunities. But that's the first time I've actually said it publicly.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
this-
No,
is this gonna-
that's what I
Yeah,
want to get
okay,
at.
all right.
Red Mist podcast
Yeah, we're
reporting
breaking
it.
news.
Breaking
You
news.
heard it here.
Potentially
Right here.
a ice
Yeah.
karting series
In future years.
in future. Yes.
So, Jim, real quick on this, is it 206 or is it World Formula or is it both?
It's pretty much anything 4-stroke.
Okay.
The only requirement is that you have to have a 4-stroke motor, and that's keeping in line with our series rule set, but also for emissions regulations.
Yeah.
There were no 2-strokes indoors. It can get pretty nasty pretty quick, even with it only being like a soup to nuts, start to finish,
Right.
a 2-hour deal for everybody.
Yeah.
So it can get pretty gross.
Yeah.
So we had to do 4-strokes. So the heats, as far as they're going, we're going to do 2 heats. So the first heat is going to be primarily cadet drivers and their dads. So I'm going to be racing on the ice with my 7-year-old son.
God.
No.
And then what we're going to do is the following heat is going to be kind of an open division. So there's going to be some World Formula drivers.
Nice.
There's going to be some 206 hot shoes. There's also going to be a couple World Formula guys too. So let's face it, none of us have done this before. It's probably going to be kind of crazy out there. I don't think the motor package that you have is going to matter much.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
This is seriously going to be driver.
Yeah.
It's going to be your driver. It's going to be how you pedal it through the corners.
Right.
You are more or less forbidden to use your brakes in ice racing.
Spin
So
out.
people are going to have to deal with that. And also another thing too, we're running this in an oval configuration
Right.
with sprint cars.
Yeah.
So
So it's going to be 2 4-lap heats and a 6-lap main. It's going to be fast and furious.
yep.
I am all in on this.
Nate, I don't know if you remember this. Were you at the indoor league when we had the on the city course when we had
The kart clash.
we had the moisture problem on the track.
Oh my God, that was our best racing.
Right. So
At the outdoor track.
that was like learning how to pedal that, and there was certain guys that were good doing drift all the way around and things like that. But this is where it's going to be very similar. This is going to be.
I think so. It's
I
going to
think
be
this
a
is
very
great.
low grip scenario.
I like this.
Wait, well, Jim,
And-
it was the perfect mix of dry and wet,
So-
like the perfect happy medium, and
So-
the racing was just epic.
Okay, and then
Nice.
Jim, just real quick on the tires. Are they how does one go about getting the tires for this? Are they getting them from you folks at the event?
So anybody who is participating, they are getting the studs through me because
Okay.
XIIR mandates a certain type of stud.
Stud, right?
So anybody who wants to join, they basically have to state that they have an old set of reins that they want to sacrifice for the cause. And then they buy the 400 studs through me, and I ship it to them. And then the company Cold Cutter has an installation procedure online that you can take a look at. And from there, you do the studs yourself the way you want
That's
to.
what you want.
I looked at the installation procedure. It looks like sorcery to me. So what I did was I bought a set of Heidenau studded tires from Sweden.
Have you tested them yet?
No. But there's actually a company out in Colorado that does ice karting for rental.
Yeah,
uses them and loves them.
Yeah, actually, Christian and I are actually heading out to Aspen, where this takes event. Where the outdoor karting thing takes place. Might be. We may stumble into that one day. We don't know yet. It depends on when we go, because we're going later in March. Yeah. So we'll see if it's still available. But we do know all about that.
Yeah.
I've been in very close contact with them to learn more about like setup and things like that. So the one thing that's really interesting is that the Heidenau Ice Racer tires are an inch taller than your regular cadet tire, and they are narrow. So you actually use, on a full-size kart, you use cadet wheels all the way around, and it's a fully square setup.
Now, not to not that I'm gonna not if someone doesn't want to go out and buy you can just put your rain tires on, do the sorcery with the studs, and put them on. I mean, you're gonna have the bigger in the back and the smaller in the front, but it doesn't matter.
And it'll do the job. For a low-cost solution, it'll get you out there. I just chose to buy this solution because I firmly believe that we will be doing this again.
Right.
So I was going to put my money where my mouth is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And no. This is all right. That wow.
Like I said, I'm all in on this. I love this idea. Bring it here.
I'm absolutely into this idea too. I love ice racing. I have seen the speedway motorcycles on ice, so which is crazy. So those guys are nuts. But anyways, that's awesome. That is fantastic, Jim. Christian,
I got nothing.
Nate, you got anything else?
No.
All right. So Jim, can you just remind our millions of listeners? Apparently, we have more viewers on YouTube than we have.
No.
Anyways,
no. We got listeners.
So the brain freeze. Is this what it is?
It's the New England Karting Challenge brain freeze.
Yep.
That's going to be on March 10th and 11th at the Danbury Ice Arena in Danbury, Connecticut. Both show times are going to be at 7:30 p.m. We'll have two heats there, one for kids and dads and the other one for everybody else. Admission, as I understand it, is about $15 if you want to come join the show and have a look. And honestly, it's a really excellent racing product. It's just a lot of racing. I mean, the heats last less than a minute, and then they truck them off, and then there's something back out there. I mean, it never ends, which is the crazy part.
It's a little bit like the Chili Bowl.
Yeah,
it is.
It's exactly like the Chili Bowl. And speaking of Chili Bowl, are you familiar with Jeff Champagne?
I am not. Is this somebody you know that ran in it?
Yes. Jeff Champagne is, he actually recently won his main at the Chili Bowl this last week.
Yep.
And he's going to be joining us on the ice.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
So you'll get to race against a professional sprint car driver.
Yeah, I tuned into that throughout the week, and it was like after I got done work, I spent an hour watching it during the weekday up until Friday. Then I kind of got addicted to it, and that was I had Friday night and Saturday. Saturday was all day. I did the whole what do they call that? Soup, the alphabet soup. There, I watched about 90% of that until the finals. So,
nice.
Wow, that's awesome. And then you folks are going to roll into your open test at Palmer, and then the season
at
will
Palmer
kick off.
Motorsports Park. Yep, and we have a little bit of a break from the time that our open test is to the time that the season starts.
Right.
That's to accommodate the NHKA schedule, and I've got a busy spring personally.
Yep.
So I figured I'd give myself a little bit of bandwidth, any last-minute preparations that I needed to make to ensure that they had the best racing product. Give us a little bit of time to take care of that. And at the end of June 24th, we're going to be doing the Tamworth Throwdown, sponsored by DRT Racing at Club Motorsports, and that's going to be our first regular season points race. So we'd love to have you out.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Okay, Jim. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us. And
Again.
we'll look forward. Yeah, Yeah, that's right. Second time Jim's been
Yeah.
on. So
Yes.
we'll hope. I think we'll have Jim back on kind of before the whole season kicks off. Maybe have a recap of the brain freeze and how things are progressing. And Jim, if there's anything new that comes up, just reach out and let us know.
You got it. And thank you guys so much for having me on tonight. This has been an absolute pleasure. And I'll keep you guys apprised of any other developments that take place. But let's race towards a brighter future in New England for the New England Karting Challenge, powered with Pryde.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jim.
The ice racing is so out in left field for me.
Yeah.
I just,
I'm glad. It's my feeling about Jim's venture. I think it's needed. Obviously, with the with X1 kind of disappearing from the scene and the Bridgewater track going away and the series that was run down there, a lot fell on the NHKA folks to fill the void, and they did so over a while, a good period of time, and it's a grind. They get a lot of competitors at their events and stuff, and the folks there needed to kind of manage it in a certain way. So they kind of cut back on the events a little bit and things like that. So Jim's kind of stepping in to I think fill the void, but I think he's filling the void probably with the bigger classes at NHK, which is the World Formula and the 206.
Yeah, but again, also reaching that market where we saw a huge influx in people coming into karting. He's also trying to make that transition easier too.
And the World Formula and 206 categories definitely are the it's a cheaper way to go racing.
Yes,
there's a lot less maintenance, things like that. Then you have to worry about with the two-stroke, and obviously the expense there is amplified. Tires, fuel, stuff.
It's like the jump from a two-stroke to a shifter.
Yeah, well, they're both labor and cost intensive. Yep. So I think this is a welcome addition. Much like we have the other, we have that two-stroke series that's coming on board. What's NKC, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to be kind of coming on. It's a new group that's going to be kind of focusing on New York and New Jersey. I don't think they'll be running any events. I think the closest they'll be running is
it's probably like OVRP.
OVRP, yeah. But again, it's going to be predominantly a two-stroke class. A little, not quite, not as probably slick as the F Series, but it's just an alternative to run. Place to go run.
I think you'll still have the same level of competition.
Yep.
Because again, it's not like
and it's five preeminent karting shops in the New York, New England, Pennsylvania, New Jersey area that are running this.
Correct. It's still similar people that are involved in all of this that were with the F Series too. So it's not. The name is different, but the same people are pretty much there.
And good to hear that Jim has obviously done his homework on this. So look forward to hearing more from Jim. As Jim mentioned, just kind of reach out to him via socials and things like that. Mm-hmm. All right. And with that, let's move on to what's coming up this weekend, which is the kickoff. Well, I guess the kickoff of. We had the 24 Hours of Dubai, but
but this is really the start of the racing.
This starting racing season in not only probably in the world of sports, in the world of sports cars, but especially here in America.
Yeah.
Right, Nate? America.
Oh yeah.
America. They'll be racing. Yeah. They'll be racing on the They'll be racing on the real track at Daytona. All right.
Yes.
So we had the Roar last weekend.
Yes.
Unfortunately, not too much television coverage.
No,
which is kind of. I get it. It's a test session, but given the fact that it was a lot of emphasis on the new prototype GTP category, it would have been nice to see
a bit more
something. Not whether it was on Peacock or if it was on IMSA TV via YouTube, that would have been nice to see at least one or two of the sessions each day.
And it wouldn't
the second session each day. I don't need to see the night session. It's kind of tough.
For me, it wouldn't have even had to been like that intensive. Like just put the
Yeah.
camera, leave it on. Like
Yeah.
I would have been fine with just seeing the cars go by on the screen.
Right, and test sessions are kind of hard. Like for the folks from say IMSA Radio, they were getting content. That was what they were there for, and things like that. And then kind of culminated with the qualifying sessions on Saturday for the GTD class, the LMP3 class, the LMP2 class, and the GTP class. So in GTD, the two Mercedes, one was the Windward car, which that's gonna start pole for the GTD AM class, but it's really GTD. And then in GTD Pro, the WeatherTech car took pole there. So I think the big surprise was that it was Mercedes that kind of led the pack. The Astons are definitely fast in both classes, so they're definitely cars to watch out for. Now, in the GTD class, the GTD AM class, the gentleman drivers or the non-gold drivers, whatever. Anyways, I think you had to be silver or bronze. They did the qualifying.
Yeah.
And then in the GTD Pro class, it was, basically it was the factory hot shoes that did the qualifying. Again, pole in a 24-hour race, especially in GTD because you're starting in the back. You're in
right.
You're towards the back of the grid. It's just you're starting in the front of the chaos. So, but that's going to be pretty dicey, as long as the weather cooperates.
Yeah.
And I think again LMP3, LMP2, no surprise, grabbing his I think fifth consecutive pole. It was Ben Keating. Okay, now
quote unquote amateur driver.
Quote unquote amateur silver or whatever.
Yeah,
silver. Ben's not old enough to qualify as a bronze yet. He outpaced pro guys that run in that. Okay, so and it wasn't by a small margin.
Well, and I think this gets back to this is no secret of why he is driving with Corvette Racing in WEC.
Well, this is why every time he runs in some class in WEC or even here in IMSA, he runs at the front because he's a very good driver.
Yes,
so,
and it's one of again a
Ben,
case of
if Ben would put his car dealerships to the side and focus on racing.
but again, it kind of
very cool.
Proves the point of ratings don't matter.
Ratings don't matter, and somebody that's probably been racing, I think Ben's been 10, 12 years now.
Probably.
He's worked his way up, and he's improved. So it's always great to see Ben at the top, and I love seeing him going against factory hot shoes.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say factory, but pro drivers in LMP2, which is there's some good pro drivers in that class.
Of course.
So now we move on to GTP.
Yes.
So overall, throughout the weekend, I think the entire class was within less than a second.
Right.
Time-wise. By the end of the weekend, when we got to qualifying, it was...
Yeah, by qualifying,
the
yes.
the spread was 0.8 of a second.
Yes.
Which is pretty good.
Yes.
All right. Did notice, I think the biggest thing with these cars is the tire compound change. Because it took these guys a lot longer to get the tires to come up to speed. Even the outlaps were treacherous, to say the least. They had to really pay attention to what they were doing warming the tires up. Some of the teams opted to go out on scuffs immediately and try and set a fast time that way. And then the Acura guys came in. I know the Shank guys came in. They did about 3 laps, came in, and then put a brand new set on. Now, typically in IMSA, you're not allowed to change your tires. Whatever tires you qualify on are the tires you're going to use to start the race. I think with the change to the GTP class this year, and it's a learning standpoint, you are allowed to change tires. However, the tire that you set your fast lap is the tire you're going to just start the race on. So, per se, you go out on a set of scuffs and for some reason set the fast lap, come in, put a new set on, and you're going to go back to the scuffs that you started. So, you really got to manage your tires.
Well,
The other thing that's been mentioned is that you are mandated to a double stint on these tires during the race.
Well, you're mandated because of the tire set allocation rule.
Right, the allocation rules. So you double stint, and again, that's a footprint issue too. Now that's coming into play. Yeah. So that was interesting. I was glad I tuned into the qualifying and learned a lot more about that. The Acuras are definitely quick. The Porsches.
What? Hence because Tom Blomqvist got pulled?
Well, they were quick, Nate, all weekend. They were leading all the sessions, except for, I think, one session.
I mean...
All right, not to minimize Tom Blomqvist's lap. That was an astonishing lap.
Yeah,
but I kind of saw it coming almost.
Yeah, but I also think had Nick Tandy not thrown it off.
Oh yeah, bus stop.
I think that lap might have been the pole lap
because that's the other thing. Like throughout this whole week, Acura has been topping the timesheets, but Porsche's just there.
Yeah, well,
and that's the one thing that the one thing that I've been watching all of this past week is Racers GTP 101 videos on YouTube.
That's Marshall Pruitt's been doing it.
Yeah, and it really is good for anyone who doesn't understand what these cars are, or what this new era is trying to achieve. He's going through literally every single car, the technical breakdown of what it is, and giving you a real 101 course on what this is
on each car.
And it's great because there hasn't been, even though there's been plenty of, well, I mean, I say plenty, but we've had video and pictures of everything, but no one's really been able to go in depth and explain stuff to the detail that Marshall has done. Yeah. And it's obviously helped that he's had the access that he has over the past week to get all these shots, to be able to explain different stuff.
I'm surprised Penske let him in.
But these videos are really
informative,
really great. And honestly, I would love to see them carry this through from GTP all the way through the other classes too, because it would be a great introduction for any fan that doesn't really understand what sports car racing is.
And that might be done through the new IMSA series, television series that launched. Maybe they'll kind of get into that.
Yes, and
Marshall's really focused on this because this stuff is definitely cutting edge right now.
Yes.
The latest episode was on the MGU and the gearbox, and those, I believe, are the end.
These are all spec parts.
These are spec.
So you're the MGU.
He got basically. You're not going to get. He was allowed a lot of access to that because there's no secrets to it.
No.
So, but he wasn't like delving into the powertrain of the Acura or the Penske, the Porsche.
No,
whatever.
I think he said he was going to do that later.
Yeah,
at some point.
So as the season, yeah. Anyways, but it was it's a great primer on what's going on, and the good thing is it does translate over to WEC a bit. Although the hypercars do things a little bit differently, but it's been a great series, and they're 10-minute vignettes, and they're really well done. So
I think there's like 7 of them right now or something like that.
If you're a GTP fan, if you're a fan of this new GTP class,
or you're someone new and wants to learn more,
definitely spend some time watching it.
Yeah,
it's really helpful.
But I will say, out of watching these videos, and the biggest thing that I've taken away from these introduction videos is that if any of these, if the battery, the MGU MGU or the transmission have any kind of problems, minimum repair time is 45 minutes to
Right,
2 hours.
right.
So,
Yeah.
For as quick as Acura is, Porsche's really in the best seat.
They've done the most
in
testing.
my opinion. Yeah,
They've done the most testing.
Just because they have the most mileage,
Right.
I think they understand
Right.
it the best at this point. That's not to say that I don't think Cadillac or BMW,
right.
don't have a shot either.
It's just
I think Porsche is still the favorite going.
we're
into
gonna have
this
to
race.
wait and see where the race shakes out. I mean, because
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know if someone was sandbagging right now because everyone.
I know.
This is the one thing about BOP, and
Right.
it's like if you show all your cards.
Yeah, and
you
that's
know.
that's the thing. It's like I think Porsche is hanging around, but I could definitely see Cadillac.
Or
just
BMW,
sit-
you know.
because
I think BMW is playing the reliability game.
yeah, I
So-
think because I think they've had more of a challenge during this
They've
testing
had
season.
they've had the least amount of testing,
Yeah.
but I think their approach is going to be, let's finish and see where we finish.
yeah,
So again, that might work. You know, it's the total typical tortoise and the hare thing.
yeah,
You know, and we also have the Michelin Pilot Challenge race this Friday, which will be good. And
This
I believe,
upcoming Friday.
and I believe there's two Spec Mazda, two of the Mazda series races this week as well.
yes,
And then this past weekend we had the kickoff of the VP Challenge, which is open to Grand Sports cars that run in the Michelin Pilot Series. You have to be a bronze driver in that. And it also had LMP3 cars.
yeah.
So it was kind of fun.
And these are single driver.
Single driver, 45-minute race,
Yeah.
no pit stops. You know, basically geared to get folks that are driving LMP3 cars more time on the track, and the bronze / gentleman driver more track time as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a welcome addition to the paddock or to the event at IMSA. So it will be actually kind of nice. They will be doing 2 races at Lime Rock this year, so filling out the build. So actually building some more robustness into the Lime Rock schedule, which is nice.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's kind of where the roar went. There were definitely some incidents. One of the LMP2 cars, the Tower car, I think John Ferrano, that car took a heavy hit in the qualifying session. So that's going to take some rebuild. The obviously Nick Tandy kind of binged the Porsche, but that'll be rebuilt.
Yeah.
So I think we're setting up for I think an interesting race. I think there's just enough gap between the GTP cars and the LMP2 cars, which is good. The GTD and the LMP3 cars, that's going to be havoc because I think those cars are just about equal on everything. So that'll be interesting. And then I think LMP2 should be a pretty decent dogfight. There's definitely some. We have Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin in there as well. So it should be interesting there in terms of the race. As far as overall who I think's gonna take it, I'm gonna go Shank.
Okay.
All right.
Nate, any thoughts?
I gotta say, I gotta tell you, man, I'm torn. But I think you're gonna see a BMW win because I think they may take advantage of the BLP.
Okay, good.
They have the least amount of testing, and they've been behind the 8 ball the whole time.
Right. Nope, that's not a problem.
I'm gonna roll with one of the Porsches. I think that they're gonna.
You're gonna go the Penske factor.
Yeah,
that's nothing wrong with that either.
No, I think first race of the year, who's looked the strongest and is going to control it. I think it's
since let's see, we picked Acura, Penske, Acura, Porsche, and BMW. That means Cadillac will win.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Figures.
Chip likes winners
Because they have the most entries.
LMP2,
cars.
like LMP2, LMP3. It's open. I can't pick now. GTD Pro. The one team or the one car, I don't know where. I have a sneaky suspicion. There's two cars. I have a sneaky suspicion.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Are you
Come on, let's hear it.
You say one.
It's going to be my prediction is going to be one of two cars, the Corvette or the Risi Ferrari.
Yeah.
Okay, because neither of those cars was anywhere.
No. And everyone in GTD Pro knows what everyone's doing.
Right.
So
Now the Astons are definitely quick.
Yes. They look. No one in these classes are slow.
Yeah.
It's all about how you game BOP though.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but it's how
And then
how you do it.
Faf will win.
Right.
Or the Lexus will win. But
Yeah.
there's just some cars that were floating that I'm like, yeah, everyone's making a big deal of the Mercedes and the Acuras were up there and stuff, and I'm going, okay.
Yeah. I mean the only reason I can't see Risi doing well is because it's a new Ferrari.
Right.
It's the
But-
296. So
But
who knows? Right. But
Who knows?
if that car hasn't been BOP'd for GT3, really, like this is its first real.
Like I
race,
said,
think.
it's I take qualifying in GTD class in an endurance race kind of tongue in cheek. So
I take a lot of qualifying and endurance
Yeah.
racing thing.
yeah,
There
it's
is
like in GTD AM, and like the Magnus guys were in the top of the sheets all the way through practice.
yeah.
Overall in GTD. Okay,
Yes.
so that meant they had Andy Lally, they had Nicky Team, they had Spencer Pompelli in the car, and John Potter was driving. Comes qualifying, John has to qualify the car.
Yeah.
Okay, so the onus on John is qualify the car, but don't. I know he owns it, but don't bing it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's a lot to ask of an the gentleman driver to do that. So, the other thing is, GTD, BMW, Turner's running both cars in GTD Pro. So
Yeah.
God only knows what will happen there.
Yeah.
So I think it's setting up to be a fun weekend. Looking forward to it. Going to try and watch as much as I can on Saturday. I think Sunday's probably going to be my big viewing day for it, and then I'll kind of catch a lot of the rest of the race on replay, which is a good thing about having Peacock. So looking forward to that. One, I think, two notes. We did have the confirmation that Dale Coyne, Stingray Ray, is taking the Stingray Rob. He's taking
Stingray Rob.
he's taking the seat at Coyne.
Yeah, the 51.
Yep, and Takuma is going to be doing the oval races for Ganassi. And then we had, I think, something pretty cool. The Ferrari LMDH.
No,
Is it a hypercar?
it's a hypercar.
Anyways,
That's Sebring.
has graced the American shores.
Yes.
And now I just want to know one dumb thing: is this thing going to just show up and do a lap at Daytona this weekend, just for kicks?
Come on, yeah, it should.
In
the same state.
Porsche did bring out the old
Now
962.
they can bring the car there because Ferrari is a IMSA approved manufacturer
Yes.
and has paid, so they could have run in the race,
Yes, they could have.
but
But
I think the way they're focused on WEC.
yeah, and I think in the car being over here now,
Yeah,
they're already getting ready for the first race of the season in March.
it's at
Oh,
Bahrain.
right.
Oh wait,
Bahrain's first, and then they come to see. I think Bahrain's first.
I think Sebring's first.
Is it? Then they go to Bahrain. Bahrain.
Yeah.
Bahrain.
Rain.
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
So,
No. First, the prologue in Sebring is March 11th and 12th, and then round one is Sebring
Okay.
on March 17th.
So they're over here trying to break the car.
Yeah.
So
that
was pretty cool.
Before then, the ice race will be taking place.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it will.
I still
So
can't get over
this
that.
is going to be an influx of WEC cars now coming over.
Yeah.
Naturally, right?
Yeah.
Can't wait for the van wall.
Glickenhaus has been here.
I know. They've already
Yeah,
tested.
right. Home soil.
They already tested. Yeah.
So
Anyways, all right. I think think that kind of wrap up. This week's episode. We'll come back next week. We'll talk about the Daytona 24 hours. And things like that, and then the following weekend is the IndyCar season open and test at the Thermal Club.
You know what's crazy about
isn't that the new
There's-
one in?
No, this one's been there for a while. Thermal Club's been there for a long time in California.
Oh, I'm thinking of what is it? Nashville.
Nashville's got one. There's a huge one out in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, Nashville has Nashville. There's two. There's the Circuit of the Ozarks, and then there's another.
Yeah, the
There's-
Ozarks just opened.
Just open. There's another track that the owners are touting it as going to be one of the premier tracks in
Yeah.
America. So we'll see what happens there.
Hopefully it's a good
Yeah.
replacement for the street race.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not a
I
fan of
know,
street
I know,
races.
so-
That's me.
I know, but yeah. So we're just starting to get into the racing season here, and so I'm looking forward to this weekend, seeing where everything goes. Everything kind of kicks off on, I think, Wednesday. I think practice starts.
Yeah, it's not Wednesday. It's definitely Thursday.
I think Wednesday it starts for everybody, but the cars in the 24-hour race, they start on Thursday, and then. But there's no, qualifying's done, so we'll have night practice. I think Thursday, Friday is like a 1.5 hour practice, and then they tune it out, and then we have Michelin Pilot racing, and we'll have the Itamitsu Mazda series. That's what it is, the MX-5s.
Yes.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. On that bombshell.
Good night.
Thank you guys for listening to the Red Mist Podcast, hosted by Christian Abbott, Sean Abbott, and Nathan Lavin. It's produced by Christian Abbott, and music is by Alex Wart and Harrison Tate.